Hello, welcome back to one of the most insidious types of addiction. Let's talk about, are you addicted to another person, to a relationship? First of all, how do you know if you're addicted? If you are looking at a situation and everything in you is screaming out, this is not healthy, this is not safe, this is not bringing out the best in me, and this is not going to get better, yet you don't take the steps to break the attachment to that person, to that relationship, to that thing, then you're addicted. If you try to make reasons for yourself to stay in the addictive relationship, either you're afraid of being without them, you just feel like less of a person, and you cling even tighter, and the negatives outweigh the positives in the relationship, that it's totally out of balance, you're addicted. If you try to think about ending the relationship and you feel like this terror come over you, like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna cease to exist, I'm gonna die without them, I can't function without them, I don't know what to do with myself, I have nothing to keep me busy, I have nothing to keep me wanting to live anymore, you're addicted. If you take the steps to end the relationship and you go through major withdrawal symptoms, you don't want to eat, you can't sleep, you're having endless bouts of crying, you're addicted. It's not healthy and it's not normal. When the relationship finally ends, or you're picturing it having ended, and you feel that intense longing and emptiness and feeling like a shell of a person, and this intense rejection and feelings of abandonment, and then sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm free, yay, I can move on, you're addicted. We're talking about before the relationship has ended here, or if it is already over. But even if you're fantasizing or thinking about it having ended and you're going through this, you're addicted. Most of these times you can be pretty sure that you are addicted. And as the alcoholic has to say, my name is, in my case, D, and I'm an alcoholic. If an alcoholic says that, it's the same thing with a people addiction. You have to say, my name is so-and-so, and I am a people addict, or I'm a peopleaholic, or whatever, a relationship-aholic. That's the first step in understanding, is admitting. As Dr. Phil says, you cannot change what you will not acknowledge, and you need to acknowledge, I have this problem. I'm addicted to this person. I can't stop talking about them, obsessing over them. Everything about me is about them. I'm constantly drawing pictures of them, writing notes to them, even if I don't send the notes. I'm just obsessed with this person. I can't get him off my mind. I am a people addict. That's what you can tell yourself. That's the first step, is admitting you have the problem. Relationship addict, people addict. Now let's talk about the stages of linking up, this bonding process that happens way back when, that if it isn't a healthy one, you're going to have problems with people attachments and relationship addictions years later. First of all, let's talk about why we are staying in an addictive, unhealthy relationship. There's many reasons why. Maybe that person is the one paying the bills and you're financially dependent on them. Maybe there's such an enmeshment that you can't picture your life without them, like we talked about before. Maybe there are other people involved, and breaking up with them would affect more than just you and the person you're breaking up with. Maybe there's children involved. Maybe there are relatives involved. Maybe there is some significant other or friend involved that maybe you share a mutual friendship with. Anytime anything breaks up, it's going to affect more than the people doing the breaking up. That's something to remember. It's just like a divorce. It affects more than the two people divorcing. It affects everybody involved. Sometimes you don't know this till years later, and people come to you and tell you how it affected them. But it's true. The second layer, so that was the why you're staying. The second layer are your beliefs. Do you have these beliefs that, well, what God has joined together, let no man put us under, and this relationship was definitely from God? or we formed a covenant, we formed a bond. Maybe you're blood sisters or blood brothers, you mingled fingertips with blood dots on them. I don't know. Whatever kept you attached to that person is what's holding you there. Maybe if you end the relationship, you're going to feel like you failed, like you're worthless, like you're useless, like you'll never be friends to anybody else and never be friendship material for anybody else. Maybe you feel like this person said that they adore me and they think I'm the best looking thing they've ever seen. So if I break up, that means I'm not pretty anymore. That means I'm not handsome anymore. Nobody will want me. Nobody will want me in their life. So I better just stay here because at least I know, even though they're being abusive, neglectful, oppressive, at least it's something I understand and it's familiar and I don't have to start over again. Maybe that's what's keeping you, is your inner beliefs. Now, everybody in this world has some form of attachment hunger, unless they have like some sort of psychopathic tendencies where they just really hate people. Everybody from birth on up has an attachment hunger. The little baby laying in the crib has an attachment to that mother. When that baby cries, that baby's expecting mom to come in with the bottle, or if you breastfeed, with the breast, and feed and take care of that infant. It's what kept you alive. It's what kept you healthy. You couldn't hop out of your crib and go to the refrigerator and get yourself a glass of milk at that age. It gave you an illusion of being safe and still in the womb, is what it is. It's a womb attachment. It also gave you the illusion that you were powerful because your crying, your tears, your reaction to being left alone, laid down for a nap or whatever, commanded this person to come in and meet your needs and hold you and comfort you. So you got the illusion that, yeah, I'm a baby, but when I do this, this is what happens. It's a cause and effect thing. And you realize that, whoa, okay, I'm pretty powerful. I can make these human beings jump just by whining a little bit or whimpering or crying or whatever. So, of course, Dr. Spock or some of those other doctors say, oh, just let your baby cry it out. I don't believe in that, but that's a whole other video series. Anyways, so you learned at an early age that mom would come and comfort you, or somebody would comfort you, and that you would have your needs met. The problem is, even though you had this mom womb kind of illusion that you were back in the nurturing comfort inside mom because she was holding you in her arms or at her chest, at a certain point, mom might not be there for you. Mom might be on the phone with Granny or with Aunt Mag down the street or whatever. Or maybe mom is caught up in her own world watching a soap opera. Who knows? But she doesn't come to your beck and call a couple times. And then you feel this, wait a minute. Wait, I'm crying. What's going on? I'm like in distress here and mom's ignoring me. What's going on? I can't handle this. And basically, you feel the first pangs of desertion and abandonment. And your attachment needs are not being met. So any good doctor will tell you the earlier you meet these attachment needs for an infant and the more consistent you are with it, the more well-developed and adapted to the rest of the world that infant will be as they get older because they feel secure. You're breeding security in the child. But if you, or maybe your parent, was not one of those nurturing people that met the infant's needs, you go through this abandonment feeling, this issue of desertion, like I said, and I can cry as hard as I want. They're not coming. I can only rely on myself. I'm going to have to comfort myself somehow, or I'm just going to have to lay here and zone out or something. But I'm going to lay here hungry and starving and in wet, poopy diapers, and nobody's coming. I mean, many children that are neglected in orphanages have felt this and grow up very undeveloped and underdeveloped because of this sort of thing. Now, in a normal family, there is a detachment phase that is called individuation that every infant and every baby needs to go through at about 1.5 years of age, maybe a little bit older. And some babies don't go through this because mom is insecure. And mom wants to keep the baby young as long as she can because that's her baby. That's her little boy, her little girl. And she doesn't do a very good job of launching that child into individuation. She keeps them attached to her, holding on to them, and wanting to continue to run their lives long past the time of when that needs to be done. Well, when the mother is willing to detach, that child develops the sense of, hey, I'm on my own. I can do this. I need to do this because mom isn't there to pick up the pieces. Mom isn't there to walk me through this. I've got to think this through myself. And it's very healthy if the person is developed enough at that right age. But in the case of a mother that can't let go, that's where father is very important. The father needs to take the child by the hand and say, come on, honey, you're going to do this on your own. I'll help you if you get stuck, but mom's busy. Let's go do this. And if the child doesn't have a father, you can imagine where the problem comes from. Or if the child has a father that's very absent or busy all the time or at work a lot. That doesn't happen, but that's what should happen in a healthy relationship with a mother and a father. But some fathers aren't able to be there, and the child can be very timid and fearful if the mother does not encourage them to fly the nest and stretch out their wings and fly a little bit on their own. All right. So if that child does not develop properly because of failure to detach from mom, failure to individuate, they form what's called an attachment hunger. Or sometimes, if the mother is too closely bonded to the child and doesn't let them individuate, this can also be considered a trauma bond. And even if the mother is abusive sometimes and not other times, it still forms this trauma bond. To the degrees that your parents were there for you and instilled that security and satisfaction in you, that they were there, but that you can also do things on your own, you're going to have less of that hunger attachment in your life, that attachment hunger. And if they failed to help you do that, maybe they clung too tightly for you, didn't let you make the mistakes you needed to make and launch out on your own, then you may have a really intense attachment hunger. You may fail to attach to other people as adults and as an adult with other adults in a healthy way. You may cling too tightly or you may push everybody away. It just depends on your personality, your resilience, and how the attachment hunger has affected you. So hopefully this explained a little bit about where that initial attachment and detachment happens, how it should happen, how sometimes it doesn't happen, and how the next phase that we're going to talk about, which is finding that significant other and attaching, how that happens with an adult to an adult relationship, and what that addiction to a person and relationship looks like. Stay tuned till next time. Thanks.